I think it's been a long time coming. Like 20 years of work, and they finally got a shot. The right hoodie, the right jacket or whatever, the headphones.
Do you find yourself fighting like things like that are basic, like quote unquote, like famous person in a band type person necessity, like styling?
I love that you're leading. You know, I don't know you well, but we know each other just enough that you know that how ridiculous that is. Like, right? Like, you know that I'm like so not that person.
Yeah.
Like, I will roll it. I do not give a shit to like roll into an interview in my pajamas. I'm really actually fine with that.
It's my fault.
So
yes, it's weird. It elevates everyone.
No, I don't agree because when
if
somebody
I get makeup, you have to have something.
I
have to
groomer.
get that's part of it is like, okay, so we had this whole conversation about this. I think before the first. What was like the first? Did we do the video first or the photo? So the album first. Which one came first? Was it Emptiness Machine or was it the photo shoot?
The photo shoot.
And they talked about, oh yeah, you're gonna, this is kind of the setup of what we're gonna look like, and we've worked with James, mentioned a million times. James is gonna shoot it, and then we started getting into like makeup and stuff, which bands don't want you to know, but they all get a little something, like just to cover up the pimples or the like sleep under your eye, or bags under your eye. But it's usually really almost nothing. And so I was saying to Em, like, we need like proper hair and makeup now. Like, how long do you take to do hair and makeup? I don't know what you said.
Well, like live, I do my own, obviously, like when we're on the road and stuff. But it's just like times where it's like being filmed. I'm just like,
It's good to do a little
in the morning
because it's like cameras and stuff. They
add something, dude.
They do, and they're like, it's super high fidelity, and they're seeing everything. So it's like nice to get a little something. Mm-hmm. I'm speaking for her.
Yes.
And because for me, I was like, no.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, she's gonna like look great. She's gonna have like proper makeup done, and if I'm not, then all of a sudden I look like crazy.
Yeah. So everybody's got.
I don't want to come in like looking like. What can I say?
Frodo?
Can I say unhoused? Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you look very housed.
Thank you. Thank you.
By the way, hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Dan. That's Mike and Emily are here. Linkin Park.
Yo.
Hey.
Very housed.
Very
housed.
I like that as a compliment. Like, you're looking so housed today.
Put together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these
kept.
studios too.
Looks like
very
you have a roof
housed.
over your head. Yeah.
Honestly, the studios over time have been nicer, and you came to one of our nicest studios ever. The first time we ever met.
Room was crazy.
Like the one right down, the last one at Amazon you came to, and then you came right down the street one time, the brick wall. Maybe you remember it was literally in Culver City.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Did you like that room?
I did. It was bigger.
Yeah.
Had depth to it.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. We're gonna have a new studio the next time you guys come.
I don't remember it well, but I'm also like, I've done enough interviews just in all kinds of different spaces that I don't have an opinion. I don't go in like critiquing the decor.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care.
No,
I don't care. It's about the content, not about the...
I do.
I look forward to your detailed review after this, please, and thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to have you guys here.
I'm excited for you to have us here.
Can we just talk? Like, this is a fun energy.
Yeah.
How'd you all meet?
How did we meet?
Do we tell the truth?
I mean, I think... Yeah. Well, I mean, here's my version of it was that I believe it was actually our drummer, Rob, but it could have been somebody else because I think a couple different people said that you should meet Emily, that she's not horrible, and I think you would get along. And it wasn't I don't think it was really at the time, I don't think it was through the lens of you should meet her because I think she could be like the singer for Linkin Park. It was more just like, she's cool. She's a great singer. And at the time it was when you reached out, it was around the time of that.
Yeah, for the Hollywood Bowl, the benefit show,
the celebration of life, the Chester show.
And I got a little I was like, oh, I'd really like to do that, and I was being vocal with friends and stuff, and they're like, why don't you ask? And I was like, oh, right. I mean, but like, okay, they've got everybody. I was like, who the fuck? Why would they want me? But I asked it was a little too late, and they got somebody got word of it at some point, but it was just like, yeah, we already have it all.
I almost, and when she had,
really
Em had told me that
it.
later, and I was like, at first I was like, I don't remember that at all. And then something jogged my memory that we were like literally, it was like the week of or something. Like we were already rehearsing all the songs. So we were just like, we had so much on our plates to like get that show together that we didn't want to mess with what we were working with that, which actually in retrospect was lucky. I think it was lucky that it didn't work out that way, because by not having Emily present in that kind of space, that later when we got together and started making new things and getting to know each other and stuff, I think it was more of a blank slate.
Can we talk about the first session? Like,
Sure.
What was it like when you actually started creating music together? Like, I mean, do you remember the first session?
Yeah.
Because it started pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
2019. I think it was, you reached out because a couple people were like, hey, and you were like, I need to meet her.
She's got so many friends. She's like a Kevin Bacon. No, what is that? Is that right? 6 degrees?
Yeah, it's 6 degrees
It's like 3 degrees of Emily Armstrong.
To be fair, you are also, I mean, you're on hiatus now, but like, dude, Dead Sara is incredible.
Thank you.
And your performance style and like the genre of music, there is alignment here. And also like
Absolutely.
your presence is, it's really infectious.
Thank you.
And you've been writing songs since you were 15, right? Or 11 or super young?
Younger, yeah. But in the band around 15, I think she was 15 and I was like 17 when we started.
And you had also been signed to Warner, so like there is like a lot of universe and connective tissue
you
that
have no idea
exists.
Yeah. The amount of like serendipitous moments it's like I should have written every one of them down, but they've just continued to happen. It still continues to happen in like the most like the smallest detail to like the big, like what you're talking about, like with the Warner, the more obvious ones. But then there's like the ones that are like the under, like the things that I would only notice, you know, things that I took snapshots of, and then somehow it's just aligned in this way for, I think, both, like for this band, you know, where they were and then where I was, and then how our paths just like slowly but surely kind of really just came together. It wasn't like a combustion, or it wasn't like a, hey, like maybe like trying to get somebody to do something. It was just like this nice, slow coming togethers of like universes, and it just became.
Do you remember your first interaction with Linkin Park's music?
Of course, yeah. I mean, Hybrid Theory, absolutely. One Step Closer was like everything, you know. That scream in like, or not scream, but like, you know, shut up when I'm talking to you. That was like, oh my God, I found my I wouldn't say motto, but what is it, like my, like this is what, like my angst as a, you know, preteen or a teen. I was maybe 12, and I was like, this is it. This is fucking it. Like, and then of course, I was so obsessed with that album, and I was starting a band at the time, and I was in a band, and I was like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to sing. I was like, he could sing and scream. Like, yeah, cool. You know, and I didn't realize later that it's like, yeah, a lot of people can't do that.
It's an art form.
Yeah, but I've learned like at that stage in my life, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. So it was like I practiced and learned on my own by listening to people like Linkin Park, you know what I mean? And learned and was in a band, and, you know, obviously trying every kind of genre for many, many, many years. But that album was everything.
At what point do you, like, no, I have chills, because it's like this really, this thing that like something that's had so much influence on you as a human being now becomes something that you have this honor. And I mean, dude, like it is a weight, it's a responsibility, it's a bunch of things, and but like, just a testament to what you've created, right? And
well, I also like, just to add on, like Emily. Well, we looked at it like, we know that there's that idea of like, you know, it's important, like the singer of this band is an important role that if we were to keep going, we'd have to like solve. try and make it not so heavy on ourselves, I would call it like a math problem, like, because that to me it takes the emotion out of it a little bit. It makes it feel doable. And I'd be like, yeah, we don't have the math. Like years ago, the math didn't work out. We didn't have the things we would need in order to keep going. So the idea was, you got to figure out the equation. Like, what do we need? And it turns out, among other things, at least the stuff that's tangible, like the things that I can point my finger at and say that's important, is like, obviously the talent. Emily's like talent as a vocalist, versatility, but there's also like the emotional aspect, like when she sings, do you feel like it's just like pouring out of her soul? Like, because that is such a thing. It's such an important part of the band's sound, is having somebody who emotes that way, that it doesn't feel performative. And then most importantly, what most people don't even think about is, do we all get along really well, and do we like want to spend time together? Because we're going to be spending a bunch of time together in the studio and then getting on the road and so on and so forth. And when friends of mine ask now, they're like, how's everything been going? Like, now you've been on the road together, you've done all these shows, and you're really getting into the thick of it. How is everything going? And these are friends that I can like say anything to. I could tell them if it sucked. And I was like, yeah, one of the best things I notice is that, like, we'll be done with rehearsal. Let's say it's like, I don't know, it's like 4:30. Rehearsal ended at like 4, and we're still just like hanging out. Like, we'll just sit around and hang out, and I not even notice to me, it's like I don't even notice we're there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I gotta go home. Like, we've been just sitting around and talking.
It's always the one person that's like, oh shit, I gotta go.
Yeah, somebody.
And then it kind of breaks up the party a little bit.
Right. But I feel like that's like, if not for that, we would totally just like sit around and hang out forever. Yeah. Which is that's
special.
such a good sign, right? Like,
yeah.
It was really nice.
Absolutely.
Well, you want to be vulnerable and create, and also like pave this path with people that you want to be around.
Yeah.
Like, being in a band is very much like having an extension of your family. Mm-hmm. You have to spend the most time with one another. Mm-hmm. You should enjoy it.
Yeah. Bands are like, these days, so most artists that you see, like if you look at your stuff that you're listening to on, your little playlist or whatever, I started to think like solo artist, duet, like this is 2 people, this is 3 people. And then beyond that, like, bands, at least in my playlist of like modern music, bands are really rare these days, like that are coming out now. And I think that part of it is because it's hard. It's harder. The more people you put into that equation, the more chances for like just differing opinions about things. Not even the personal stuff. Not even like, oh, we got to fight about a thing. It's more like, oh, I think the band should be like this, or I think the sound should be like this, or I think we should look like this on stage. And when you've got more people, then you've got more people pulling in different directions potentially. So it's pretty special to have, in our case, 6 people who are all pointed in generally the same, or at least a really similar direction.
It's true. Like, art is subjective. One's career vision for themselves is personal, you know? So for it all to align is...
Oh, yeah. And I love being in a band. I mean, again, we were talking about Dead Sara. I was in Dead Sara for 20 years, Like, I love it.
You get it.
Yeah. And it's a lot of,
interpersonal and professional relationships.
Yeah. But it's like the purpose there is so much greater, and what we love to do. That it's easy to kind of talk about, what we need to just to get along, And, as long as you have that purpose there, or like, what you're doing, or like, it's about the music. It's about, there's something there. There's a connection. It's quite easy, And I'm always pushing people to be in bands, and I have been forever. And I'm always like high-fiving people. I'm like, just started a band. I'm like, fuck yeah. If there's anything I could do to help. It's like, it's the greatest. It's the greatest reward when it works.
You mentioned, Mike, this idea of having to tackle this whole thing like a math problem, because the only way to do that is by putting emotions aside.
Yeah.
Like, is that like a part of grieving, or what? Like, what is that?
I don't think. I think that I just, for me, like, defining things certain way. Like words matter, right? Like I choose words that like when we're writing lyrics, like every little detail is important. And for me, like, you know, when I call it a math problem, I think that's just like a self-defense mechanism so that it doesn't feel as like scary.
Totally. Because emotions make things
math
scary.
is finite, like, right? So that's very doable to me. And as we were like getting through it, I think M was saying, you know, it came into focus really gradually and really organically. It didn't like we didn't go, all right, starting today, we're going to reform the band. Starting today, we're going to find a singer. Like that's like leaving your apartment and saying, starting tonight, I'm going to find a spouse. It's just like, you're going to do what? That's a crazy thing to do. Don't do that. Like, why don't you go out and like see who's out there and hang out with some people and meet somebody and see if you get along. Like that's way better. And by the way, I think I'm riffing off of this because this was actually our bass player Dave's kind of he said that at one point. Like he made that analogy. He described that analogy, and I just thought that was so funny and so real that yeah, you don't like keep the pressure off yourself a little bit, and like we'll just make music, and we'll meet people, and eventually, if it's meant to be, like we'll connect with those things. We'll connect with the right music. We'll connect with the right people, and we'll figure it out.
So in 2019, when you guys started working together, were those Linkin Park sessions, or what were you working on then?
No. It was just like, I think the first thing we worked on was something I already had, right? I think it was one song that I already had, and then we did another day where we just made something from scratch. And I liked, right?
Yeah.
Did we do 3 days, or was it just the 2?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it was my old studio.
Yeah.
And they're good. Like I like those tracks. They weren't like right for this record. But maybe someday people will hear them. I don't know.
It wasn't until we came back and started writing again. It was like, oh,
it changed a lot.
The songs that you'll hear on the album, like it was just like something clicked.
Yeah.
Like I was ready, and I think they were ready. Like whether we knew it or not, it was just let the music kind of speak, and just being like, whatever's going to happen from this, it's going to be cool.
How'd you know?
Well, I was a little more like I was a little more of a believer earlier because I spent the most time with Emily. So I was like, yeah, she's good. She's like in all of the things I just described earlier, like she's good. And I think the guys are going to like her, but I don't want to be pushy about it. Like I want to just like present what I think I know and let them react. And so we just started doing some sessions, and I played them. I tell you I even made them like a little very, very short Dead Sara playlist.
A little medley.
It was only like 5 or 6 songs. Because I was like, if I had sent them an album and asked them to pick through that, I was like, that's just
forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they might, but it's like there's something less intimidating about like, no, like here's like an EP that I put together. But it was specific to like it's specific to like these are songs that I know have a connection to our songs that if you hear these and then you start thinking about One Step Closer and Waiting for the End and different songs with that require a different kind of singing, all of the variety of the band, you're going to listen to this and go, I could see that. Maybe that does work. And so I started just giving them different pieces and saying, am I crazy or is this like cool? You know, and
I want to know what songs those are.
I can show you. I think I still have the playlist.
Awesome.
I think I still have the playlist. And then one big turning point, like there are checkpoints where it was like, oh, this conversation just took a step up. And one of the big ones was kind of out of nowhere. Joe, we were sitting there talking about the new music that we were writing, and we had like over a dozen songs at that point that we liked. And M had sung, I think, lead on one or two, like a part, like a chorus on one or two of them. and sung backgrounds on a couple, and that was it at that point. And Joe said it was just me and Joe and Dave, and Joe was like, do you think Emily would just sing? Could we just have her sing all of the stuff? And he wasn't like being silly. He was like serious. He's like, do you think we could demo like her voice as the lead, like on certain songs, like just her on the whole song, just to hear what that sounds like? And I heard him say that. I was like, this dude's a believer. He's because she's going to do, I know she'll be down to do it. I know he's going to hear it and he's going to like it. I'm positive. So then I was like, okay, this is the fact that he came to that conclusion before even I suggested anything was like really, that was a big deal.
How are you taking those songs on and embodying them and bringing them to life and feeling them fully in a way that seems like...
You talking about the new stuff?
I mean, yeah, new stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well,
old stuff too, but
sure.
new stuff first.
Yeah, I mean, there was some of the demo, like most of them were demos. Some of them were completely done. And I think more of the demo, they all have different kind of, every song has its own emotion and everything going on that you kind of have to just adapt to or try and figure out or make it your own, right? So it's, and I've never been in a situation where it's like, here are the songs pretty much done. And I'm like, that's great. Like for me, I'm like, that's awesome. Because it's like, I don't know, like, and he's such a good writer. And so it's like, yes. So that's already like the easy part where I'm like, awesome. I'm going to sing songs. Absolutely. And I'm going to do my best to try and, you know, like he was saying, put the emotion in it. Put what does the listener want to hear? How do I bring these lyrics to life in a way? And we were getting to know each other, him as a producer and pushing me in ways that I loved, you know, that I was never, or if I ever did have the chance to do that with great writers and producers, I learned a lot. So this was like, I was in that seat like every day, and I was just like, okay, so you find a rhythm in that, and you find, you know, the flow of it, and taking, you know, suggestions and some things, and you get into this whole world of it, you know, and you get lost in the different songs and in a great way, you know. You want to get there, you want to be in that place, and you feel safe. And I always want to do the best I possibly can. And sometimes I don't know what that is. Sometimes I think it's like in a completely different direction, and I'm getting frustrated. And he's just like, Emily, like, here, just take a 10-minute break, come back, don't think at all, and just sing it, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay. And
That's
then it
common.
sounds fine.
I think that part's common.
Yeah.
A lot of singers like will
Like,
get
just
in their
go
head about
away. Yeah.
they'll get in their head about a thing because they've when you're recording, you're repeating a part over and over, right? And so that can
Over
be
each other.
It could be a little like mind numbing. Your brain gets lost in the repetition of it, and you don't know which version of the performance is good or bad at that point. So that's super common. I'm used to dealing with that with anybody who's like vocal I've produced, and I get it myself too when I sing sometimes. But specifically, like, I remember when we were working on Over Each Other is that's a song that just came out actually, and it's one of the first ones where I remember I told you Joe said let's have Am sing the whole song. So that song we had written. We knew it was good. We loved the track. We loved the lyrics and the melody, and we took the track. We pitched it so that it was better for her range, her vocal range. We had to pitch it higher because I was singing it originally. So pitched it up and got the track in good shape, and then had Emily sing it down. And as she was going, we played around with some new, like, we changed the melodies a little bit in a couple spots just because she was singing these other things that sounded cool. And that's, to me, when she was talking about just now getting lost in the process in a good way, you're so when you're doing that, you're at a point for me, a point in the process where the song is already so good, and you've like, almost like there's this intangible, like, spiritual connection between you and the song, and you're talking to each other, and it's telling you what it wants. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I know that sounds like some woo-woo, like crazy stuff.
It's real.
But I believe, but I feel that way when I'm working on a song that I know is a standout. Like, there's something special about the song. I feel connected to it, and I feel like I can almost hear it asking for, I'll hear melodies, or and she was doing that, where she would, instead of singing the thing she was supposed to sing, she'd sing a different thing slightly. And we'd be like, oh, that's better. That is better. Let's do that. That's the new part now. Let's try some things like that. So as we got through that process and arrived at the version that you hear on the album now that's out today, the final version of Over Each Other is a like a result of all of that, you know, exploration and us figuring it out together. And by the way, also Emily singing a thing that the band then went, oh yeah, I think she's really good. Like, she might be our singer.
A lot of this album from Zero, it's incredible.
Thank you.
Right?
It's so good.
Yeah.
She's good. She's very good.
Calm down. Calm down.
The stories.
She's really good at taking a compliment.
Calm down.
Loves compliments.
I got to say, brother, the stories you're telling in every song are so vivid.
Oh, cool.
So vivid,
Cool.
and they come to
Nice.
life,
See?
and
I'm
you
telling you.
feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like you feel this weird understanding, but it's like, oh, it's great. It's like it's fantastic. Is it about, like, it gives like stories of different relationships or one consistent relationship?
I don't know where on this record, I was really trying to think about like where the lyrics were coming from, because I did lead. Well, I think I led the lyric process in a similar way to the album's mid-career and earlier. Like, as we got towards like One More Light, we had more co-writers in the room, but prior to that, it was really just me and Chester, and he loved for me to suggest him lyrics. So a lot of that was like either me drawing from my personal experience or me knowing his experience so well that I was trying to help him tell his story, if that makes sense.
100%.
So he had all the good stories, and he had all these like really intense emotions, and he'd say them to me, and I'd jot down stuff and like go, what about this? What about that? Like, is this how you felt? Is this a right lyric? And, oh yeah. And then he'd riff off that, and we'd go back and forth. So we got into some of that, like towards the end of the process. I think we started to develop more of that, got to know each other better. And to be honest, like, I don't know, we were so deep in it that I don't know what the lyrics are about. Like, I know what they're about. I do know where I was drawing from and like what we were talking about in the room. But I'm still, I think maybe for the best, they're not so concrete. Like, they're a little loose in terms of
That's
like.
me. It's me. That's why.
Yeah, it's just like
It's my influence.
it doesn't need to be like super. Country music can be that a lot of times, for better and worse, where it's like, this is the story. This is the exact story I'm telling you. There's only one version of it, and this is how it goes. And our music, like if you go all the way back to Hybrid Theory, it's a you and me, and it's a core nucleus of a emotion, but like you might think it's about you and your mom, you might think it's about a girlfriend, someone else might think it's about some other thing, right? And that's what I like about the new record, is it has this a little bit of like a good ambiguity to it. It's not coming from an ambiguous place, it's coming from a very specific place, but the way it reads is different.
How much of these songs are done before you bring them to people, or are you just writing everything together? It's a
little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
How about the
So Emptiness Machine was a demo that I think 80-90% of that, I did it, I sang it, it was done. I played it for people just like 2+ years ago, and they were like, that's good. But the reaction, this actually surprised, like this was something I thought of this week. I was like, oh wow, I actually played a demo of that with my voice on it, and the music was almost the same. I think the drums were not, the drums might have been like a plug-in and not live drums. But I remember playing it for them, and they're like, oh, that one's good. That's good. And the reaction was not, holy crap, this is going to be one of the biggest songs of your career. It was not. And there were smart people who pick hits in the room, and they were like, oh, that's good. And so I know because of that, I was realizing, once we decided to put Emily on it, like we reconfigured it so that the second verse happens and she is introduced, and that's a moment. And we shaped the song to make the best of that. It was like, that was actually, decisions like that can make such a big difference. But you get into this whole, like, I know I'm on such a tangent.
No.
You
Love
said,
it.
you were talking about who wrote a thing, right? The thing that I wrote was like, let's say 80 to 90%, just to throw a number on it, similar to the thing you hear on the record. Almost all the lyrics were there. Brad and I did a rewrite later, so he gets, credit-wise, think of like Brad gets some credit for doing a lyric rewrite with me. And then there was the other decision to put Emily in verse 2, have her go all the way to the chorus, and it switches back to me for the beginning of the bridge, and then we kind of take it out through the bridge together, and she finishes the song with a big chorus. That decision was a 5-minute decision, like, let's do it this way. And then we did it, executed it, and it made the song go from that's good to, holy shit, this is one of the biggest songs you've ever written.
And it is, right?
It's like one little 5-minute conversation can mean that much of a difference.
Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Dude, the lyrics are incredible. It sounds like you're talking about the industry.
I'm not, but I've had people with Emptiness Machine and Heavy as the Crown, we've had people put their own like lyrical, like they say, I think the song is about this, and I think that's cool. I don't know. We've never talked about this. Like,
what is it about?
Do you feel like when people would talk about Dead Sara lyrics, like historically for you, when people talk about like what are the lyrics, do you like to like tell them exactly? Do you like to like let them figure it out on their own, like do their own thing with it? Does it matter? What do you think?
It's very ambiguous, my lyrics, and that's what I was talking about. It's like, it was my
right.
doing. Just
You're
like,
more of the
what?
like Rick Rubin approach of like it can be a little intuitive.
So when people are like, "Oh my god, I love the lyrics," I'm like, "Tell me why." And so I want to see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And so that's usually, and then I'll be like, "Oh, what inspired it was this, and it turned out to be this." That's usually the case.
Yeah.
There's some songs where I'm like, yes, I had a full story from beginning to end, which I understand. And a lot was just like, this sounds cool, I'm going to put it in.
Right. Yeah.
But even the stuff that sounds cool, it has a purpose to
Absolutely.
the overall, whether it's a story of the song or the story of the album. Like, it serves some purpose.
Yeah.
To something.
I mean,
I love that kind of.
Hendrix, Chili Peppers, some of like
Nirvana for sure.
Some Bjork, Nirvana. Like, there's so many great examples of things that are like, first and foremost, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
The lyrics are a mystery.
Yeah.
Maybe even to the singer. But it sounds great. I want to sing it. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
You know what these songs mean, though.
Well, I know where they came from. Yeah. For me, Emptiness Machine is not about a person.
Right.
It's more about a thing that is like, it's like an abusive relationship with something that's like just sucking the life out of you, right? That's, to me, if you read the lyrics on paper,
totally.
it's really that. And I'll stop there because I do like the idea. Right now, I'm in a
I'm not going to tell you.
a period of time where I like the idea that I don't want to talk about it too much because I like people having their own.
I noticed that, so I never talked about it. And I was like, he's never going there. I'm like, I'm not going to.
We talked to somebody. We did one of the interviews and they were like, it's about this, right? I was like, I love that for you.
You're like,
like, that's
cool.
a great concept.
And I was like, okay,
But
noted.
Art is meant to be up to the person, right? Like everything is
Yes.
different. It's based on like experience, perception, who I am as a human being, and hopefully like a song can find common ground and mutual understanding between the person listening to it and the human being who created it.
Oh, this is as if you speak to musicians all the time and you know these core fundamental truths.
But
I think that's a true thing, what you said.
100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, keeping it general and vague may be like what the universe beamed down to you and intended to come out. But in doing that, like,
I should be so lucky.
makes it the most relatable. Do you not feel that in any way that, like, people describe a flow state when they make music?
Yeah. I'm of that like, at least right now, like I'm of that belief that like the song is gonna happen whether it's you or somebody else.
Yeah, someone will grab
Like
it.
so if you miss it, somebody else might pick it up and be like, "Oh, I see the song," and then they put it out, and it is, good, bad, or indifferent. It is the song. The song is their song now.
I mean, has that ever like actually happened?
Well, I think that's the reason why in any period of time you'll see multiple songs with the same title, the same lyric, the same yada yada yada. Like the reason you see those things is because that's the moment for that, right? I mean, how else would you explain? Unless you're just a super conspiracy theorist and you're just like, that person ripped it off from that person. There are situations where a songwriter, like, there are connections between people. Oh, they had an idea, said it in the room. That person, somebody in the room was in a different room and that person used it in that room. Like, yes, that happens. But I've had ideas for songs that I have not shared with people. And I've said, oh, this would be a good song. And I try to write it and it sucks. And then 3 months later, so basically the song was written at the same time, the song comes out by somebody else, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a clever way of doing it. Like, that's the same idea I had, and I get to hear what somebody else...
I've had it before, too.
There you go.
But there is something to, like, you having that idea, but the idea not being meant for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
That's very zen of you. I actually agree with that.
and also, like, this idea that, like, you can create the right environment, and also, like, it's whatever the universe beams down to you matched with like whatever you're going through and what's been bottled up, and that combined with like one's ability to make music at all come into play. It's like I feel like the universe or ideas flowing, like that's just someone can grab it, but that idea being meant for you makes it yours. But also, like, I don't know, genuinely it's you plus that inspiration. So much of who you are as a human being makes it into art. Even if you write from imagination.
I also want to just say, like, M is very, like, she's, like, humble about her participation in taking those songs and, like, making them real. It's, I get the idea that, like, okay, the song is written and I'm not going to embarrass you. I know this idea of, like, oh, yeah, the lyrics got written and I like them and I don't want to change them, and so I'm going to sing them the way they are. But kind of like what I was saying before, like, you could do it wrong, right? Like, I could have a really great song and I know it's great and everybody agrees it's great, and you give it to somebody and they sing it and they're a good singer, but then you listen to it and you're like, yeah, it's not there. It's missing. Like, everybody's great, but the song is missing something. And that was not happening. The opposite was happening, where we're like, we know it's good. Then she sings it and we go, it's better. She didn't change a thing. She just sang it and it's better because she sounds amazing. And there's some emotional, intuitive, like, connection that happened when she delivered the thing.
Can I take the opposite side of that? When you take songs like Faint or Paper Cut and then you look at Two-Faced or I'll Give You Everything I Have, I don't think anybody else could write and record those songs other than Linkin Park.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like where like, I don't
We do our best.
Where do those songs come from? Because I don't think if you would have passed up on those songs that somebody else would have eventually grabbed them.
But do you understand? Do you remember where you were at when you actually wrote them? Was there like? Do you feel like it was beamed down to you?
Our process, how like a lot of people write, like, will write a song in a day. Like, that's a lot of, especially young people, start at whatever time, finish 8 hours later, and they've got a finished song. That's not really my process. Like, usually we'll do a bunch of that and have a bunch of seeds, a bunch of demos, and then the good ones get a lot of work, a lot of craft, a lot of tweaking, a lot of changes. Give You Everything I Have. It was maybe the last one to start, last song to get started. Did you feel like it had a lot of versions?
Yes.
A lot of versions, right?
Yeah. And
it was called Villain at one point.
Yeah, I think it was just because it had so many versions in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're thinking about it, because it was like the last one to be on the album, and we had to like fucking race to get it done.
Yeah.
So it was like we had to really speed up the process, and like all we were thinking about was that song. So it felt like maybe the other ones
we
did
weren't
have,
juggling multiple songs. We were
Yeah.
just working on that one.
Yeah.
Right.
So that one
right.
does feel like a standout, but I believe that we did the same thing with many of the songs.
Yeah. Overflow
That one
was
too,
like
yeah.
so many versions.
Yeah.
So many versions. So there wasn't one moment when it was like, oh, the inspiration is now. It's like that moment happened, but it was just the vocal on the chorus or just the intro of the song, and those were months apart.
There are many moments.
Yeah, lots of little. But that's the beauty of working on one song
Yeah.
over a longer period of time and not just like doing it in one day. The beauty of coming back to it and continuing to take cracks at it is that you give the opportunity for lots of lightning strikes.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Yeah, like you kind of consistently get re-inspired. What
Yeah.
inspired you to begin with, then when you take a break, reconnect, inspires you again.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
That's interesting.
That's right.
Can we talk about Two-Faced?
Yeah.
The guitar is incredible. Sick.
Thank you. I'll tell Brad you said it. I mean, Brad and I wrote the guitar on that song.
Are we like very selective as to like where it goes?
We don't care very much. We kind of just do whatever.
It's not true. Not true. Two-Faced, caught in the middle. The dark's too vivid. The light's
Is
not
that
fair.
your line? The dark's too vivid? I don't remember
Nope.
which one of us.
That's you.
Is that me?
Yeah.
I
I think Caught in the Middle,
say
I
it,
think
but
was that one.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking of like who wrote the word.
That's you.
Because we were just I haven't mentioned Colin today. Colin Britton is like he was like part of the process just as a writer and a co-producer. Like I just love working with Colin. I had met him in sessions and then was bringing him in to help with writing and production.
He's added a lot to this band too.
And then
Yes.
eventually we were like, hey, dude, like, turns out we need somebody to play drums. So like, I know that's his primary instrument. So I was like, is that something you would want to do? It would mean stepping away from your like production career. But
Wasn't it the thing where it was like, well, we need somebody live. So do you want to
Live.
play guitar or do you want to do drums?
Oh yeah. Originally it was like,
Take your pick.
we
It was
were,
kind of like that.
we didn't know. Yeah. Cause
Just
Brad,
very, just like, you know.
we knew Brad is, in case anybody doesn't understand the dynamic, like our guitarist Brad is our guitarist. He's in the band.
Yeah.
But he's realized that in terms of his like, it's kind of like a mental health thing. Like he doesn't love the touring and the live show lifestyle. And so he is our guitarist, but he's not playing live. So he found a guy named Alex who's spectacular, really good guitarist, and they get along great. And Brad chose Alex to play his parts live. So, but at the time we hadn't met Alex, and so we asked Colin. I was like, you know, Brad needs somebody to play guitar, and we need a drummer. Like, you do both equally well. What would you want to do? And he was just like, kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Just like, I can't believe I think he said, I can't believe what you're asking me right now. So excited.
But again, like another testament to what you've created and built, right? Like this desire, then the instant, like, yes, I'll drop by like a seasoned producer, a fantastic musician, both of
Yeah.
you. Like the idea that like, yes, I'm going to park my stuff and
Mm-hmm.
also like, it's a collective thing now. It's also the universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right.
A lot of stuff falling into place.
Well, and Colin and Emily, like originally, if you had talked to us in like 2019, like we were just looking for a singer, right? That was the role to fill. And as things evolved, it became what it is. And I realized after we launched, like actually it was as the week of the launch show, like a little over a month ago, the pressure was on. Everything was about to happen. Nothing had really leaked.
It's
Like
crazy.
we were all like,
How did that happen?
we were all so nervous too, and we were just like, we have so much to get right. Don't mess up anything. Don't miss a beat. Like, let's just get it right. And I watched Colin and Emily have each other's back. Like they were like, we're the new guys. Like we let's rehearse more. Let's get everything right. And they kind of went on their own and spent time together to like work stuff out that we knew because we've been doing it for 20 years. And I realized, oh my God, like we accidentally ended up in this wonderful dynamic where they've got each other. They can both go and like besides the playing, like relate. They can talk about it and be like, can you believe we're sitting here doing this? Like this is weird. And they had those. I've heard them have those conversations. It's awesome. It's the best. You should talk about it because I shouldn't be talking about it.
No, you're right. I mean, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I couldn't have done this by myself. Like being the only, like how, it's like a blessing to have had him have this whole process with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until it started getting like the pressure was on, and we were like, oh my God, like we have each other for this. Like this is. Again, like it was the universe. Like I don't think I would have taken it so much, like as much grace as I have without him, you know? And because they're all seasoned in this. So it's nice to have that person where it's like everything's so exciting and new, just like, you know, and you know, we're just like, what the fuck? Like what? Things that they're just like doo, you know, as like anybody would look and be like, "Fuck, Emily, like how crazy is this?" I'm like, "Yeah." So that's basically how Colin and I talk. Like, what the fuck, you know, like as fans, you know.
Emily, when Mike first tells you that you guys are going to do live shows, like where do you start? Like, do you just dive into the catalog or ask Mike for a set list? Like, where do you begin?
It's a good question. He definitely had like this is what we usually do live. You know, these are the ones that go very well. And it's like a very long list. So I didn't really have to have something exact. You know, I was just like, well, I got to get fucking started. You know, like this is going to be a lot. Like Colin and I were, you know, practicing months before, you know, like in his studio and just going over and like just trying to get these songs to feel like mine, you know. And some of them were a lot harder to do because like the older ones were harder. Even though I knew like when the song starts, like I know how to sing it, it was harder because there's layers to it where it's like years. I don't know why.
It's
mental
like a
layers.
mental,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much more to uncover with the song to like really get to like, okay, it's meant so much to me and it's meant so much. It's like solidified in like we're talking about the universe. It's like. It's solidified in the universe. So now I have to somehow crack that and make that something that's relatable to me and to you as a listener.
Was that like...
So it's a lot
like
more
Numb.
layers.
Like Numb, for example.
Yes.
It's probably one of them, right?
In the end.
In the end, yeah.
You know.
And you can't even think
even
about
Crawling.
it, right?
Yeah.
Well, Crawling was funny because Crawling was one of the... Okay, but she says that. But like, we were playing around with these like just what ifs, and we played it was acoustic guitar and Emily singing Crawling in my studio.
God.
That just sat down like, what about this? And she like, what key do we find? Do we sing it in? She sat there and just like belted it out one time. I was like, yep, that's the fucking song. Like, that sounds awesome. And what was great about it is, you know, for some people, the fact that it sounds different, they don't like that. They're not comfortable with that. I say yet, because I think the more they get like a little bit of exposure to it, some of them are going to come around and be like, oh, actually, I get it now.
Right.
But for me, I already am like accustomed to her voice, and I was ready to hear that. And when she sang it, I went, what I love about this is it sounds like the song. It doesn't sound like Chester singing the song. It just sounds like the song. It sounds great. So
Right.
I was so like
it's the emotion
confident.
in it.
Right.
It's the emotion.
That's the part she needed to connect.
I had to.
Yeah, with.
That's what anybody's going to connect to, because when they hear that song, it is the emotion. Obviously, his voice is incredible, and you know it does other things, but like it's the emotion side of it that I had to. And it was easier for me for the emotion side because that album, like we talked about, was
helped shape
huge for me.
the way you sing.
Yes. And how I wanted to emote as a singer, you know? And so just like what he was saying, it's getting that, like, the layers, you know, like everybody's so used to hearing it a certain way as well. That's like one of the layers, you know? And so having all that time with Colin and, you know, because he's a great producer. So he was able to help me in ways that I didn't even realize. You see what I mean? So it was like so many of these great moments where we're just like, oh my God, we needed each other, you know? And how it just like really came together, like with the band. Like it's like one of those things again, like where it's just all fell into place so beautifully.
It's really wild.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, on
You're
your
telling
side,
me.
how good did it feel to finally perform these songs again?
I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like part of it is like going from the band being like an indefinite hiatus or whatever it was. Like we didn't put names on it. It was just like, yeah, we're not doing anything. From it being that to like standing on a stage and doing it. I think there were all these weird little moments that were so surreal. One of them, just getting on a stage and doing it, getting in a room and doing it for the first time felt so cool. That was actually more stressful though for some reason. Like I felt like because it was so rough, you know, it was like, I hope we've set aside enough time for us to, you know, to get this right.
Yeah, there was that moment for sure.
And then, but that's normal. I went home and I was like, oh, I'm stressed, but I guess that's normal. It'd be
because
weird.
you guys haven't played the songs in so long too, so that's.
And we changed.
Yep.
We were
some of the
changing.
keys,
We were changing keys on songs that we played for 20 years. I had to relearn Breaking the Habit from scratch practically.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, just because it had to be a different key. But yeah, I think the most important thing is that like for me, I can probably speak for, you know, the other guys too. It's like, you know, having a thing that you felt like it was taken away and then being able to get it back. Like, oh, you can't play shows as Linkin Park anymore. Even though Linkin Park is like part of my DNA. It's like, you know, when everybody's got like a core identity diagram that you like. There's stuff like when you draw your little like this is who I am. Like if you ask anybody, like if you were to sit down with a piece of paper and like write down the things that make you, that's a crazy exercise if you think about it. Like shit, like it's your like the things you love to do, your family. Like do you have kids? Do you have some love? You have spouse? Whatever. Like the things that make you, and your beliefs and blah blah. Like really right in there in the middle of it is Linkin Park for me. And that's there are other things too. There are many other things too, but to have that one out was painful. Mm-hmm. So to have it back in was like, I mean, there's nothing like it. There never will be anything like it.
And to be fair, so many of the other things are connected to Linkin Park. So much of one's identity, life, everything.
Yeah.
And like your music.
Like you, for example, that you have an 18-inch Linkin Park tattoo on your back. I know what a big fan, like it's so meaningful to you that the band is playing these shows.
But the other thing too is it does matter to so many people, right? Like there is magnitude to the art that you make. Like it is true.
I've seen there was on our YouTube page, one of the first episodes of we have this thing called LPTV, and one of the first episodes was about the first few shows, LA, New York, and there's a fan who has all of Chester and Rob included the original lineup, our signatures on has them tattooed on his arm, and I don't remember how many shows. He's been to over 50 Linkin Park shows. He's got tons and tons of Linkin Park related tattoos, among other things. And one of the things he said was like, he's like, I've got 2 spaces about like right here. This is where Emily and Colin are going to go. And I was like, wow, That's a crazy way to start this tour.
Yeah.
In
Right?
that moment, do you realize that Linkin Park is actually bigger than any group or one person? It's like kind of a lifestyle and it's a
I
culture
learned
thing.
that, yeah.
And I say this with respect, like big.
How does that feel? Is that
I knew it was big, but like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
I mean, you could
crazy.
easily make the case that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than Rob. It's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes without saying though, because it's like even when we were talking about the lyrics and people like coming up with their own, like identifying
totally.
with the songs a different way. We make a thing, it goes out into the world, and they connect with it on their terms, and that part of it becomes. I mean, that half of it, I don't know. That part of it is their thing now. So it's out of our hands, and it's the world's property, right? So it's Linkin Park memes, it's Linkin Park tattoos, it's animated music videos with the people are editing Naruto with Linkin Park stuff. Like, I don't know. People do all kinds of, like, they make crazy things that are their, the way they're relating to the music. They're having their experiences. They're going on road trips listening to it. They're playing it for their children and having an emotional moment, a memory that they are creating that is completely a bubble that's their own bubble. And that if they remember, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Totally.
Kids, I watched a couple, we were playing a show in LA, and I watched a dad and his daughter, and she was like, this was years ago though, but it was like, she was probably like 13, 14.
Probably your first concert.
And when we played the newer stuff, she was elbowing him and going like this, blah, blah, blah. You could see her doing it. And then we played like One Step Closer, and he was like, okay. And he's like, has his arm around her. He's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, this is what, like, she was, like, they were coming at it from a generational, with a generational gap in between, and they both loved the same thing, and they were having this wonderful moment. It was really sweet. But I left there going like, oh wow, this is what it's all about now. It changed. Like in the early days, it was one thing, but now it's this thing, and I don't know where it's going to be 10 years from now.
How does that thing influence from zero?
Well, I mean, that's kind of part of what the name is about. So the name is, among other things, one reason I liked the name is that it's being from scratch, from a blank canvas, right? And the other thing is that our first band was called Zero.
Yeah, with an
and
X.
It was XERO, and it started with me and my friend Mark. We were like probably 17, and then we wrote some demos and eventually brought on Brad and Dave and Rob and Joe. So this is that was the 6. And we got signed at that point, like later. Yeah, we did a bunch of showcases. We tried to get signed. Nobody wanted to sign us. Eventually it happened. When Mark left and Chester came on board, and then we changed the name to Linkin Park. But the original band name Zero was I mean, in the beginning it was just me and Mark. So there's an element of this album that like gets back to basics that way. Like it gets back to we tried to get back to the purity of like making music just for the sake of making stuff that we thought was interesting, making stuff that we thought was cool.
How do you achieve that in the actual process?
No expectations.
That's a good, yeah.
That's what we had.
Keeping the expectations out a little bit.
That's something you only have when you're young, really.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And we talked
you
about
don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
Like we get to make our first album twice. That's kind of what I thought with this album. You
That's
know?
cool.
And it's
Yeah.
a very definitive moment where it's like you could do anything. And that is such a freedom to have in a band. And especially for, Linkin Park being one of the biggest rock bands in the world, And I think there's something very magical to first albums. And we got to do this, and it felt like a first album for us. It was great. Like that energy.
Interesting.
Couldn't have said it better.
What do you think?
That's right.
I just want to know how you approach that scream on Heavy as the Crown. It's a long one.
We have a video. You want to cut to it?
I will. We'll put that up. We'll put that up soon.
Yeah.
Or at some point soon.
I mean, it was the first time that we did it.
That was first take, by the way.
I was going to ask
The
how many
scream
takes-
that's on
Wow.
there, she did it a couple times, but the
Yeah.
one that's on the record is the first one.
yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
There's a video. I don't know why it's not out. I thought
We're gonna put it out. I forgot we had it
Yeah.
when the song came out, and now I found
kinda
it.
fun
We'll put it
not
out.
to-
We'll put it
yeah.
out. It'll be on our socials at some point. soon.
The intro of that song is really majestic. It's great. It
Which
feels
one?
different.
The string thing.
Yeah, Heavy as the
Oh,
Crown.
yeah.
Starts like in a really different way. I like it.
It's like
Thanks.
I
It
had
feels
to,
orchestral. It feels, I don't know.
I made it was quite a process to make that sample. I mean,
It used
like,
to be a different timing too.
oh, that's right. Yeah, it used to be straight. It used to be da da da. Da, da, da. But no, it was da da da. Right, it was on the downbeats, and then Joe suggested Joe and Mike Elizondo suggested we do something to make it a little. I think they said groovier, and I was like, oh, what is this, like disco? And then we moved that little
No.
jog up, and it made it almost feel like Bollywood, which I liked.
Yeah.
The scream on Casualty, crazy.
Oh,
Scream-
just like
yeah.
the courses.
Yeah. I felt like they were screaming at each other. It was intense.
Oh yeah. That was like a thing where like let's do something different.
Let's
right?
do something different. I was like, I have an idea for how I could do this verse, but it might suck. Like, I'm not going to be able to do it that many times. And then I did it, and then Joe was like, so I feel like we unlocked a thing that Mike needs to do a lot more often. He's like, can you do that all the time? He really liked it.
How'd you get there? What do you think about?
Yeah, well, I grew up on. There's a very specific type of like heavy. It falls into the category of hardcore. Like, people think of like New York hardcore or like straight edge hardcore bands, and if you're into that genre, which I'm not a tourist, but I'm not like super deep. But I do love bands like Strife, newer bands too, like Speed and Gel, and there's a band called, well, anyway, super duper rabbit hole. There's an aesthetic though of those types of bands, and I think my gateway into that was Helmet. Do you know the band Helmet?
No.
So we're actually, Paige from Helmet, we asked him to sing on a song on our album, The Hunting Party. And I've always just been a big fan of them. And they actually are going to open for us on our upcoming date in Dallas, which is like such a nice moment. Like, I know that most of the fans don't know who they are. Their like biggest album was like 30 years ago. Like, it's crazy. So I just love this band, and I love that type of music and stuff like that. Like, I think when I can tap into, we were talking about like going back to the roots
I was
and
just thinking
like
that.
being a young kid, doing a record for the first time. That, I think the yelling, screaming part for me, I don't really do a scream. It's just like it's like hardcore. It's like, that's what I was kind of thinking of.
I
I never thought I could do that. I think when I tried to, I was younger and my voice was higher, and it didn't sound good. So now that my voice is like older, I thought it sounds cool now. More authority.
You tell them.
Yeah.
What'd you guys learn about yourselves from making this album?
Oh God, probably a lot. I probably need to not talk about any of it in a recorded format.
That's for my therapist.
Exactly.
How did you guys keep this a secret? Because when you were here in 2023 of last year, you said nothing. We were
Literally
asking you little
nothing.
questions. You played it off like nothing was happening.
Yeah, it was
I'm
tough.
proud of myself.
Yeah, you did good.
I was so tempted sometimes. I don't remember whatever, but I was like, there were some moments when people would ask a question and I'd be like, oh, if you only knew,
I
motherfucker. Oh, we were in it, like, at that time when I put out Already Over. We were making Linkin Park songs at that point. Like, we weren't calling them Linkin Park songs, but we were involved. We were getting busy. And I think one of the things that struck me is that keeping it a secret, like, a bunch of people knew. They had to know because we were setting up things. Like, we were having people come in and like write. We were having people,
Shoots.
yeah, we were shooting things. We were
A lot of
asking
people
for
involved,
we were talking
yeah.
to openers. So that meant like other bands and management and stuff. And the only thing that makes any sense to me logically is that the reason it didn't leak is because people either liked us or respected us enough to not do that. And
Yeah.
that, so to me, that's like, it was such a beautiful thing.
That's big.
Yes.
Right? Like, I like my friends even more now
Absolutely.
because nobody went out and was like, yo, did you hear?
Now, like in moments like that, you learn who the real ones are.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Emily, did you keep it to yourself, or did a lot of your friends and family know?
No, not a lot of people knew. I mean, we talked about this where I've just like, it was hard to go hang out because I didn't want to say anything. Like I'm having a couple drinks and I get excited or a song comes on. I was just like, I'm going to fucking say something. So I stopped going out so much. I kept a very low profile within that time. I was also very busy too, and I was just like very immersed in it. And I just wanted to stay in that zone as well and just be like, okay, like it was very, very exciting for me. And especially in those moments of excitement, I wanted to tell people. So that's when I knew I had to step back a little bit. But when I started doing the work, that's when it became easy, where I didn't think too much to like have to tell people. But I definitely had to have like a, what are you doing? What's Dead Sara doing? What's this? Like, you're in the studio? Cool. You know, like I had to like just kind of, yeah,
So you had to
just writing, just
planned
having fun.
answers.
Yeah. Being very vague, but yeah, very vague.
Has success been redefined at all with all of this for you?
For me, it gets redefined all the time.
What is it today?
What success?
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
I think part of it is like, part of it is enjoying what you do, to enjoy what comes at you, and to seek out stuff that you know you enjoy, or at least might enjoy. Because sometimes those things you might do something that is challenging or uncomfortable, but you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I know it might suck, it might end up being bad, but I'm gonna have fun trying it. So because I think new experiences are important. So that's a thing. And yeah, we were talking about all the little weird new things. Like earlier, we were joking about makeup. Like, you know, having a woman in the band is a new thing. Like there's little nuances to like, oh, we can't just have everybody in the band like getting dressed in the same room, like running around in a towel. We used to just be like, whatever. I mean, we weren't like naked dudes in a room. We were both like, it was like a locker room, right? Like, and I was like, okay, so we got to set up our backstage a different way. Like, what's comfortable for you? And how do we do that? And also not be separated. Like, we want to be together and like, cause it's fun, but we also have to have some private space. So stuff like that, like, you know, it sounds stupid. Like, it sounds like, okay, yeah, just figure it out. But to me, it's like, it keeps this thing that we've done for so long, it like turns it on its side a little bit, and you get to go, oh, that's gonna be different. That'll be interesting.
A new approach to something that you've gotten,
Yeah.
like, that again, like becomes just like muscle memory, an extension
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
What
about
do you think? What's your success?
What? I'm still trying it on for size, man. This shit is like, fuck. You're a lot busier. It's a lot more work, but it's all worth it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so crazy. I'm still trying to like figure it all out. But you know, it's like after this tour, I came back home and I was just like, oh, okay. It's not like it's crazy.
Was it
like,
too quiet? Did you have any moments where when you came home from tour, you were like, I got to get back out on the road again because it's too slow, it's too quiet right now? Or
not
did you
for the
enjoy
first
it?
week.
Yeah.
But once we started getting in the studio again, because I knew that, I kind of like mentally was like, okay, we're gonna be in the studio, we're gonna be together again. And then when we started doing that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go on the road again. Like,
Cool.
It like ignited that, like, and you get excited.
Yeah.
Because it is like a high. Like it's a drug that you get used to.
Yeah. And it's everything I've dreamed of. Like, it's absolutely, I'm so fortunate to be in this position. Like, it's crazy. But, you know, like, I feel like I've been training to be in this position for a long time, you know, with the style that I sing and like being in a band for so long. It's like, I feel like, you know, it's like I've been training, but then when I get into being in this position, I'm like, holy shit, I have so much to learn still, you know? And I always want to do a really good job. So I could be really hard on myself at the same time. So it's like, there's moments where I really, really enjoy like, oh, the success and stuff like that. But I'm like, don't fuck it up. You know, there's like that voice and it's like, keep going.
I love
you know?
that though. That's like one of the great things about you. One of the great things about everybody in the band is that like, I think everybody takes that very seriously. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody's trying to just be like coasting. Mm-mm. Everybody's like putting in the effort.
Well, and that's what like changes, right? Like, you know.
Well, I mean, but at this point, you know, even for us, like 10, 15 years ago, I think that we even then were, you know, there was a potential for the band to be like a little bit jaded or a little bit like just like letting it ride a little bit. I don't think we really do that. We're just like, for me, I'm just too, I need to be, my mind needs to be occupied with stuff. Like I need to be doing stuff, making things, and
you produced 26 records over Twitch over COVID. Like that's I didn't know. You didn't even know that, but you did. For people you met,
counting.
for you produced records for people you met on the internet.
That's true. That's true. I did that. Some of those were really good.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Like, no, just a testament to the fact that you need to be doing.
I don't know if they would have been better like Instagram reels than like songs, but like still.
The more you know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think part of it is another thing that we didn't talk about in terms of like what's a success is like community. And making like connections with people. Like I feel like one of the things that's back for a lot of people is, oh, this band that I really enjoy is like active again, and we get to share this experience or share this energy, and we get to like do things like scavenger hunts online with them, play with them, right? It's playful. And I like to, that's a thing besides music, but related to music that I like to do. You know,
music cultivates the community.
Yeah, I love that.
By the way, you can listen to the album From Zero. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. Link below. Code on the screen. What are you thinking?
I think we're getting the wrap up in our ears.
Nah, dude. I know. I really, you know, you guys are really special. We're gonna get into like a track by track, so you can listen to the album in a whole new way on Amazon Music. Thank you for just being here, but also for making music and continuing to create. It really is deeply, deeply appreciated. And
thank you.
Yeah, the music is really special.
I think our fans know at this point that I'm like I've become a little picky about who I want to talk to about our stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's like
yes.
I feel like I'm becoming Sam Elliott. Just like, I'm getting too old for this shit. I don't need to be talking to all these people.
Your time and energy is very
And I love talking to you guys about this stuff because I just feel like, I feel like there's a mutual respect. I don't know if you respect us. You act like you do. I respect what you do. I enjoy the conversation. So thank you, man.
Real recognizes real, and I deeply do. And both of us, our lives have been shaped by the art that you made and the art that comes to life. So yeah, right?
We've always loved Linkin Park.
Thank you.
I will
appreciate it.
Yeah, me too.
Man. Forever.
Like having you guys.
No, you're on this side of the desk now. You're over here.
Right. I'm the singer. I'm the
You just
singer
say
now.
thank
Right.
you. You're good. You're part of the thing.
What were you saying?
No, I was saying like it's just like cool to have you. Like every time you guys come in, it's just like they're actually like they're here. Like to me, even though we have people every day, I'm like it's still cool.
That's great. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
But also like you know, there's timeless records. There's like generational defining records. There's genre defining records. There's songs that create new genres. You literally check off every box of what I just listed, and you could do 1,000 interviews and not actually cover all of it. And it's
true.
really powerful. And just thanks for coming in always. It really means the world.
Thank
So
you.
true.
Appreciate it.
Mike and Emily, Linkin Park, everybody.
Good job, man.